And now all of a sudden, in the copycat league, the copycat fans and copycat local media in Pittsburgh is calling for Mike Tomlin to get fired. It's the house is on fire. Fire Tomlin. He's overrated. Fire Matt Canada. Get out. Deontay Johnson. He needs to give his money back. The dude's no good. What's we going to do? This kind of stuff, I think people are losing their dignity. But my pushback is always on that. To go and get whom? If Mike Tomlin got fired because, the thing he had going was the never having a losing season thing. Okay, fell on his face. You know what? Fresh start. The team isn't responding to his message. That did hold some water ultimately with Andy Reid and the Philadelphia Eagles as maybe they wound up in a better spot. I am anti get rid of Mike Tomlin, if only because, not just because players seem receptive ultimately to what he's got going on and his approach to things, but also because I always ask the question, to do what? Who are you going to get? Matt Rule? You're going to go see if Nathaniel Hackett is ready to jump ship yet? There aren't that many options of people. How say you on this?
I'm with you. I am with you, Shaq. I feel like Mike Tomlin is one of, if not the best, modern day coach in the NFL. And it feels weird to say that after they just got curb stomped 38-3. And he's, the field goals were ridiculous, right? 24-3 and 31-3, and you're kicking field goals when you can't stop Josh Allen. At that point, that was surrender. That was waving the white flag. That was giving up. What do you do? At that point, you just got to go for it every fourth down and onside kick every time because your defense can't stop a nosebleed. But you're right. Take a step back, sleep on it, deep breath. Mike Tomlin is a fantastic coach. I think that what everybody talks about all the time has weight to it. The fact that he doesn't have a losing season. We'll see how this shakes out. But he does thread that needle of guys want to play for him. He's a player's coach. At the same time,
does that matter though in your experience in locker rooms? And I'm purely playing devil's damashek here because I am not on board. And it's funny that I am sliding into this weird minority of Steelers followers and wonks and all of that who are kind of like, settle down, everybody. It's going to be okay with Coach Tomlin here. But there's some gathering momentum behind, like he's lost the locker room. They're not responsive to what he's laying down at this point. How important is it that because the pushback is like, players love him. Players love to be in that locker room. How relevant ultimately is that?
Well, it's not just the fact that they love him and it's like a country club atmosphere like Rex Ryan had here in Buffalo where, you see Rex Ryan's truck leaving the facility at 3:45 p.m. Guys love him, but it gets contentious behind the scenes. That's just his coaching style. I remember talking to Chad Greenway when he was the Vikings linebacker, and Mike Tomlin's younger than a bunch of players. He said that those meetings they had were contentious, heated. They would go at it. He has thread that needle of, guys love him, but they love him because he's honest. He's up front. Like, if you're not good enough to get the job done, there's the door. And that pressure is there every single day. And you heard him after the game, Shaq. I felt that pressure in that press conference where, jobs are going to be on the line at this rate. Coaches, players, everybody. He's not going to be afraid to make big decisions. He's already made one at quarterback and wasn't all on Trubisky. I think there's a lot of Canada mixed in there, a lot of injuries mixed in there, but they needed a spark. They needed a quarterback willing to drive the ball down the field. I liked what I saw to Pickett, which is weird to say when they scored 3 points. Quick release, athletic, giving it to Shaq Lawson on the hit that he thought was dirty. All that stuff is good. Big picture, I think they have the right coach. I think he'd be stupid to get rid of Mike Tomlin. Like you said, what else is out there? I guess you can take a swing for the fences if you want, but good luck. Good luck. I feel like they have a coach who checks all the boxes you need to check.
Caesar Cleo, the Mannings, Hank Lundquist, and now yours truly, yes, -3, is now a proud member of the Caesars Empire. And your very first bet, it's on Caesars, up to $1,250. If you win, muzzle tough. If you don't, you'll get it all back as a free bet. That first bet also gives you 1,000 tier credits and 1,000 reward credits, putting you closer to the types of perks only Caesars can offer. So download the app, use promo code CZRFULL, Caesar full, and go full Caesar this season.
All right, what's the long-term plan here? Like, what is the plan? Teams that draft a quarterback in the middle of the first round and roll with that quarterback, you don't really know how that's going to shake out. So are they going to have to take 5 steps backward before they take 1 step forward? That's where it gets interesting the rest of the season. It could bottom out. And I'm burying the lead here because we talked earlier this season. I mean, I think TJ Watt is the best player in football. And when you don't have that presence out there, they haven't won without him. So he's at least good for a couple wins this year. Maybe the conversation's totally different when he's forcing a fumble late in the fourth quarter to get you a win.
Listen, you just said it all, and you started off with like show the door. The door is the Pittsburgh Steelers right now for me summon, as often happens in many instances in my life. I lean on the gangster movies of our lives. You know, the Godfather and Goodfellas and beyond. I am grappling, just like all Steelers fans are right now, with being suddenly a pigskin poor. This is unfamiliar territory to me, at least at the pro level. But to fire Tomlin, here's the thing with the Tomlin thing that people say that they find vexing is that they know the Rooney family is philosophically against that they like to dig their heels in and they like to not be seen as flailing about for a solution. They're nice and steady. It's the most oft mentioned thing in watching a football game, right up there with Tom Brady as a 6th round pick, is that they've only had 3 coaches since 1969. But so people don't like that. They want change when things get bad, but we're 5 games into one season. Everybody fire Tomlin, fire Canada, trade Claypool, take Deontay Johnson's money back. Since we're issuing demands, Steelers fans, here's my advice to you: act like a man. Listen to Vito Corleone. Stop drowning me in your tears. What you can't do is do what fans are doing, and I think some players are doing, and even Tomlin, as you touched on. What you can't do is act like the guy on the other end of the line with De Niro and Goodfellas after Tommy got whacked. So we had a problem. We tried to do everything we could. He's gone. The season is gone. We couldn't do nothing about it. The season's gone. The Steelers are 1-4. Things feel grave because they are grave for this season right now. Then again, TJ Watt got hurt. TJ Watt is the Steelers' best player. He is one of the 5 best non-quarterbacks in the league. The Steelers would be 2-3 right now at worst had TJ Watt been out there and healthy for the full season. Things would not feel nearly as dire if, in fact, that was the case. That's not the case. But don't turn into Philadelphia fans. Don't become so narcissistic and demanding about what you're entitled to that you start spooking coaches and players who otherwise might want to be in your town out of your town. Stop losing your dignity over this and acting histrionic. Look around the league. Just about every offense stinks. I know you just saw Josh Allen, one of the exceptions that proves the rule. But Tom Brady and the Buccaneers coming to town on Sunday are not winning games because of Tom Brady and that offense. Same goes for Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers. Defense is dominating right now. The Steelers wanted to dominate defensively, and then they lost their Jenga piece, the straw that stirs the drink, whatever you want to call them. The fire everybody solution is met for me with the response, and go and hire whom? Who is it exactly that you see out there that's ready to fix this for the Pittsburgh Steelers? What bright Sean McVay only has worked with so many guys who are 30 or younger right now and available to be hired right now. All that said, I have to say this as you listen to my monologue, Ty Dunn. Because I'm fired up reading, not just watching the game, but then reading and listening to the fallout from it. This goes to Mike Tomlin. I don't care what the local media says. I care what Ryan Clark says, who is the greatest advocate of Mike Tomlin. And love the next man up mentality. As Tomlin says, the standard is the standard. But when you're down TJ Watt, your best player, the approach cannot remain the approach. The team quit because they learned it by watching you, Tomlin, when you went for that field goal at 24-3. That was waving the white flag. I don't understand what the thought was there. The bottom line is this: 5 games through with 12 left to go. If you want to get real mad, Jens, The team is not finishing with the first overall pick. You can wish for that all you want. TJ Watt isn't walking through that door now, but he is walking through that door. The O-line will improve. Pickett will continue to improve. Like it or not, now Yins can't leave. How about that? You're stuck with this team. This is not a team that's going to bottom out and fix itself via top 5 in the draft picks like the Jacksonville Jaguars or otherwise. This team does not fall all the way back. How say you, Ty Dunn? Am I right about that?
If you got $5 to spend, it's a good time to throw down on Pittsburgh making the playoffs right now, because that wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me. They get healthier. Pickett plays well. He's got some weapons around him. You sneak in with the extra team. Hey, there you go. There's your. I'm not even a gambler, but there's your gambling tip. I got one more gangster movie comp for you, though. As you're talking about waving the white flag and surrender, and your team kind of taking on the personality of your head coach. That is so true. I could not agree more. What about the Bronx Tale? What about that scene where...
That's what I just said. Now you just can't leave. Chaz Palminteri slams the door on the thugs. Now what are you going to do?
That's right. And just beats that.
Godfather, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? Our team's 1-4. We're no good. I'm embarrassed watching them. Grow up.
I'm saying it.
Godfather, what am I going to do? You can act like a man.
That's a great scene. But they got to start kicking teams' asses like that scene. That biker gang, they had no shot. And what does he? He holds them right up and says, I want you to look at my face. I want you to remember me. Like that, when the Steelers are at their best, they're taking it to teams like that physically. That's how they talked into this season. At training camp, talking to Cam Hayward, he said that he had a lot of deep conversations with Mike Tomlin, that we want to be the black hat. We want to be the villain. Everybody's talking about offense and quarterbacks and all these receivers, all this fun stuff happened in the AFC. We want to take it to teams. Old-fashioned way. Kicking those field goals isn't doing that. Playing the way they're playing isn't doing that. So somehow the psychology of the team has to get back to where it was when they're at their best. And that, love Mike Tomlin. They'd be stupid to fire him, but you're right. He's not completely, off the hook here. They've got to coach different.
He's not a pro. He's not. It does really feel obstinate on his part. I get completely. As our guy Mark Caboli of The Athletic said on Sunday, the way the Dallas Cowboys are winning games is the way the Pittsburgh Steelers intended to win games, and you saw that plan play out in Cincinnati in week 1. But what's the big difference there? TJ Watt was in there. You cannot continue to win games when you don't have the Jenga piece who makes those plays happen.